Don't build a website before watching this video. Thousands of business owners have thrown money out the window only to end up with a beautiful website that doesn't sell, doesn't tell their brand story, and can't be self-managed. A website is not an online poster. It must be a revenue-generating machine, a strategic tool that runs 24/7, optimizes user experience, and remains easy to manage even without coding knowledge. Follow the journey of developing a website from A to Z, and discover the untold truths before you start building one. Part 1. Understanding users is the core of every design. Every beginning must place the right thing at the center. And in the digital design world, users are the absolute center. Everything else, layout, color, animation, is merely a vehicle serving a single goal, helping users achieve what they want easily, naturally, and without obstruction. When you understand users not through cold data but through practical intuition, every pixel on the interface becomes a bridge between them and the brand's value. Analyzing user behavior must go hand in hand with strategic segmentation. Some visit just to find quick information, opening hours, location, basic rules. Others dive deep into the product, exploring each type and ingredient. A good design doesn't choose to serve one group and abandon the other. It must be streamlined enough to serve both missions, simplify for newcomers, and expand depth for the experienced. Some outdated design mindsets still cling to the idea that focusing on a specific user segment makes optimization easier. But the truth is, user behavior has never been linear. Today's users demand flexibility, and design must respond to that. Web design cannot be viewed solely from a technical angle. It must be a behavioral map. If a general user cannot find what they need within 10 seconds, they'll leave. If a power user doesn't find depth in the content, they lose interest. At that point, the experience falls apart. A website with only one mode of approach is like a door that only opens one way. In a world where personalization is the standard, no one accepts a one-size-fits-all path. Instead of confidently optimizing one group, take a sober look. Limiting your user base is exactly what chokes growth potential. The core value doesn't lie in what a website contains, but in how users feel when they leave it. A good design doesn't impress people with effects, but comforts them because they don't have to overthink. No need to wonder which color to choose, where to click, or where to read. Everything is in place at the right time, in the right place. When simplicity and intelligence meet, that's when the experience is truly liberated. That is a design that serves, not through words, but through intentional behavior. Part 2. Website Structure Strategy. Minimalism for maximum experience. A sitemap is not just a list of menus, it is the foundation for building a coherent and effective experience flow. When the homepage, product page, brand story, visit guide, and contact page are in the right place, users don't have to guess. They see clearly where they are and where to go. Distinguishing between sections, instead of mixing everything into one page, helps them move faster and more confidently. Navigation isn't instruction, it's action shaping. Some modern design models make the mistake of trying to compress all content into a single landing page. Minimalism is misunderstood as oversimplification. When everything is crammed into one place, users are forced to scroll endlessly, enduring irrelevant sections to reach what they need. They grow tired from searching instead of being guided. Instead, separating content clearly into specialized pages optimizes experience and increases engagement time. Each piece of content should have its own space to shine, rather than being buried in a crowd of text and images. Distinguishing between static and dynamic pages serves not only technical purposes, but also provides users a sense of control. A static page like brand story needs to stay fixed to build trust. A dynamic page like each beer product or recruitment post should update flexibly based on real conditions. Giving each beer its own page is a smart decision. It's good for SEO and shows respect for each product. Cramming everything into a single list only shows carelessness. Accurate navigation is never the product of habit, but the result of observing actual behavior. If we keep designing on autopilot, like other sites do, no real experience is created. It's all just a dull replica. Website structure is how a brand declares to the world, "We know what you need, and we're ready to support it from the very first click." When every content section has its own place, and the access journey remains uninterrupted, users will proceed on their own without being pushed. They don't need to be persuaded with words. The clarity of navigation itself is the strongest invitation. A good sitemap strategy is not about complicating things, but about organizing intelligently, so every page has a clear reason to exist. Part 3. Optimizing access flows, guiding without imposing. A wireframe is not a draft sketch, it is the backbone of every experience. This is where user behavior is predicted and directed through structure, not chance. Every content block must serve a purpose, starting with an emotionally engaging image, followed by a strong call to action, and then supporting content like introductions, testimonials, or contact. This order is not random. It reflects a psychological journey that users unconsciously follow when the design is done right. Some design systems try to cram too many choices onto a single page, leaving users confused by too many decisions at once. They don't know whether to watch the video, read the introduction, or book a visit. This fake sense of freedom is actually organized chaos. The role of design is not to present everything at once, but to activate the right action at the right time. Placing the book a tour call to action right after the video isn't just a tactic, it reflects deep understanding of psychological pause points. When emotion is sparked, that's the golden moment for conversion. One common mistake is treating a wireframe like a content checklist. This part must have an introduction, that part needs an image, the next section is for contact info. This approach turns design into a lifeless grid. Users aren't guided, they have to guess where to go next. Worse, some pages put the CTA all the way at the bottom after users are tired and distracted. If the main action doesn't appear early and repeat at the right scroll rhythm, conversion rates will plummet. Those who claim smart users will find it anyway are gambling the experience on an assumption. In reality, every extra second without prompting action is a lost opportunity. A good wireframe ensures that every step leads clearly to the next, never leaving users wondering, what's next? Some believe users should be left to freely explore, that the less direction the better, to create a natural feeling. But the truth is, undirected experiences only make users leave faster. People don't visit a website to roam aimlessly. They come to achieve a specific goal. Freedom only has value when it exists within a purposeful system. Restructuring a page isn't about controlling users, but about helping them avoid getting lost. Guidance is the subtle art of serving, not imposing. A proper wireframe isn't a beautiful layout, it's a behavioral design blueprint. It reflects a real understanding of the user's cognitive and emotional flow. When done well, users won't even realize they're being guided. They'll just feel like everything appears at the right moment, in the right place, and evokes the feeling, I want to click. That is the peak of experience, when navigation becomes invisible and action becomes instinctive. Design doesn't need to say much, it just needs to behave correctly. Part 4. Aesthetic and visuals, the art of serving function. Aesthetics are not decorative elements. They are a layer of visual communication encoded so that users can read without thinking. Every color, every space, every stroke carries meaning. A great design doesn't make users stop to admire it, it helps them feel natural within the flow of experience. When visuals spark emotion at the right moment, when the background soothes the eyes, when the layout invites interaction, this is no longer just an interface, but a living space for the brand. Many design systems mistakenly think that the more visual materials used, the richer the depth. They simultaneously apply wood textures, concrete backgrounds, linen overlays, green filters, yellow filters, all mixed together into a noisy blur. Users don't know where to look, and they can't identify the brand's unique tone. Overusing textures is the fastest way to lose consistency. Design is not a playground for technical experiments. It is where messages must be conveyed precisely. Every element must have a reason to exist. If not, it's just noise. The difference between two design rounds clearly demonstrates this lesson. The first version was chaotic, lacking visual rhythm, distracting the viewer. The second returned to logical structure, dominant brand color, restrained textures, content layered by visual zones. When the number of elements was reduced, the design became stronger. Not because it was minimal, but because it was intentional. Like a piece of music, silences are as important as notes. Visuals don't need to be dense, they need to be precise. There's a current trend in the design world to create visually striking experiences. These are layouts with constant animations, overdone transitions, glowing buttons, and autoplay videos without stop buttons. Supporters of this style often cite creativity, but reality shows this creativity comes at the cost of usability. A website should not force users to watch through all the effects before finding the information. Impact doesn't equal effectiveness. Short-term emotion cannot replace long-term experience. Good design knows when to stop, choosing one consistent font instead of 3 different ones for 3 content blocks. Using one subtle hover effect instead of making each button spin in a different way. Restraint in design doesn't erase personality, it makes it more memorable. Just like how strong brands come with clean, recognizable identities that are easy to repeat. Visual design is not for the designer, it is for the end user. And they don't judge by creativity, they respond with action. Some still hold the mindset that a website is a chance to express personal style. They turn the interface into a showcase of preferences. Colors they like, fonts they find strange, animations they recently learned, all poured into one space. But a brand website is not the designer's portfolio. It is a communication tool, a commerce system, a bridge between buyer and seller. Personal style must not overshadow collective purpose. When personal preferences take control, user experience is the first to suffer. A successful visual design is when users no longer notice the design. They only notice that what they want to do becomes easier. Colors guide the eyes. White space lightens the mind. Visual rhythm creates a feeling of breathing room. Successful websites don't overwhelm, they bring comfort. When interactions are smooth and every element plays its role, that's when design reaches a tranquil state, effective without showiness. That is aesthetics in service of purpose. Part 5. Simple technology for true efficiency. A good technical foundation isn't one with the most features, but one that fits the people who use it daily. A beautiful website that no one on the team can update, edit, or operate is a design failure. Effectiveness lies in control, not complexity. The right question when choosing technology isn't how powerful is it, but who will use it and to what extent. Technology is meant to serve people, not to showcase programming knowledge. Many design teams still treat large open-source systems with overlapping plugins as the professional standard. But when applied in small business reality, with no tech team and no maintenance time, this model becomes a burden. Every few months, the interface breaks. A minor feature update requires advanced technical skills. A website shouldn't become a full-time job for the business owner. Simplicity isn't laziness, it's clarity. A tool must operate in the hands of the end user, not just in the testing environment of a developer. Choosing an easy-to-use platform is a decision that creates long-term autonomy. When operators can edit content, add products, change images, and update statuses without fear of breaking the system, that's a sign of smart technology. Design no longer ends as a product, it becomes a living process. A tool that allows content changes without coding saves time and money. It lets the team focus on growth, not maintenance. This isn't a technical downgrade, but a direct strategy, usable, durable, and dependency-free. Some believe that using no-code platforms lowers standards. They argue that such systems only suit individuals or basic templates. But results show the opposite. With flexible customization, fast updates, and real user empowerment, simple platforms are winning. So-called professional setups that lead to dependence, bugs, and costly upkeep are no longer true standards. Modernity doesn't lie in complexity, but in real empowerment. Technology handover shouldn't feel like pulling a plug and hoping for the best. It must be a coherent empowerment process. Users must know how to change content, create new products, and control the interface in real time. A website operated by the brand's own team with no middleman is a website with vitality. Letting go of technical dependence isn't just a smart choice, it's a shift in mindset. The best technology is that which turns users into owners. Part 6. Empowering operation, the true strength of design. Handover is not just about delivering a product to the client. It is the moment that affirms the design has fulfilled its mission, becoming a usable tool. When the end user can create a new product entry, edit content, or change images without assistance, that's when the design has matured. Sustainability lies not in appearances, but in long-term operability. A website is no longer a place to view, but a living platform that evolves and responds over time. Some still believe that handing over control to clients is risky. They fear clients will break layouts, violate brand principles, or ruin the interface. But this fear comes from unclear design and lack of intuitive guidance. A good system doesn't require tech-savvy users, just those who understand content logic and familiar interactions. If a platform is forever dependent on the design team to update every button or line of text, it is not sustainable. Design has no place for operational monopoly. It must be a transparent public tool. When ownership is properly granted, clients not only feel confident using the system, they are eager to explore more features. They stop asking, "What do I do if I want to edit this?" and start doing it themselves. Training no longer takes hours, just a few minutes of interaction is enough. A visual admin interface, drag and drop actions, real-time updates. These are the elements that turn non-tech users into independent operators. And at that point, the role of design truly shines, to liberate, not control. Some design firms keep back-end systems complicated to create a long-term client maintenance channel. Every small update requires reconnection, incurs fees, and builds dependence. This may work in the short term, but it suffocates the sustainable growth of the client's business. A platform must be able to separate from its creator and still function well. When clients own their system, they not only save costs, but also gain flexibility and strategy. A successful design is one where the client no longer needs you, but confidently continues forward. The power of a digital system doesn't lie in complex technology, but in its ability to empower. True handover doesn't end at the final meeting. It begins the moment the first user edits content and clicks publish. When they can update without fear of breaking it, they begin to see the website as a natural extension of their business. From that point, the site is no longer a product, but a strategic asset. Good design doesn't hold on to power. Good design gives it away, fully, completely, and responsibly. Empowering non-technical users to operate a website is not a choice. It's a detonation that shatters the boundary between expertise and the public. A bold move, full of risk and irreversible. When every click holds the power to shape a brand, what is the role of the designer? If a wrong edit can wipe out the whole system, why still give control? Is design now just an empty frame anyone can fill? Or is it within that chaos that true power changes hands? To give power is to accept consequence. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.